Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking the incredible story of how online streaming just completely took India by storm. It went from being this tiny, niche market to a massive, multi-billion-dollar industry almost overnight. So that's the big question, right? How did this happen? To figure it out, we're going to use a fantastic report from KPMG as our map. It really traces this incredible transformation and helps us see exactly how the game changed for everyone. This story isn't just about new technology or faster internet speeds. It's way bigger than that. It's a journey that totally reshaped how an entire nation entertains itself, creating this wild new media landscape, basically a sea of infinite choice.
Okay, so every massive change has a starting point, right? A moment where everything shifts. And for India's streaming boom, it all kicked off with a single, incredibly disruptive event that unleashed what you can only call a data tsunami.
And that spark? It was the huge launch of Reliance Jio's 4G network back in 2016. Now, this was not just some small update. No way. This was the thing that lit the fuse on an absolute explosion in data consumption. Suddenly, high-speed internet wasn't a luxury anymore. It was accessible and affordable for millions. And industry leaders like Gaurav Gandhi saw it happening in real time. They knew this wasn't just some temporary promotion. Jio created a tidal wave of new viewers, and that wave fundamentally and permanently changed the entire market. And what was the result? Well, the number of online video viewers was projected to double. It went from around 200 million to over 400 million in just a few years. Think about that. You suddenly have this massive new audience, hungry for content and ready to get online like never before. And of course, where the eyeballs go, the money follows. The economic scale of this opportunity was just enormous. Digital ad spending was forecast to nearly quadruple in only 5 years, jumping from about 77 billion rupees to almost 300 billion. The money was officially pouring into digital. So, this data tsunami, how did it actually change things on the ground? Well, it created an entirely new playground for media companies. It didn't just shift the tech, it shifted the very way people thought about watching their favorite shows. This led to a huge cultural shift. The question was no longer, hey, what's on TV tonight? It became, what do I feel like watching right now? This whole on-demand culture meant that platforms had to completely rethink how they reached and served their audience. And this revolution wasn't happening in a vacuum either. You had all these powerful forces coming together at the exact same time. The government's Digital India initiative, the explosion of affordable smartphones, the rise of digital payments, and crucially expanding internet access into rural areas. It was the perfect storm. So here we are in this brand new world with hundreds of millions of potential viewers up for grabs. How does an over-the-top or OTT streaming platform actually win? You can't just show up to the party, you need a playbook. The KPMG report breaks success down into 3 core pillars that have to work together perfectly. It all starts with content. What are people actually going to watch? Then you have distribution. How are you going to get it to them? And finally, monetization. How are you going to get paid for all this? And the thing is, you just can't succeed with only 1 or 2 of these. Amazing content is totally useless if you don't have good distribution and a way to make money from it. They're all pieces of the same puzzle. If one is missing, the whole strategy just falls apart. Let's zoom in on that monetization piece for a second. You basically have ad-supported models like YouTube, subscription models like Netflix, and then this really interesting hybrid called freemium. You've seen this, right? That freemium model is exactly why you can watch some shows on a platform like Hotstar for free, but then you have to pay up for the latest blockbuster movie or the big live cricket match. It's a clever strategy to get you in the door. But look, this journey isn't just a simple straight path to success. Not at all. It is filled with pitfalls and all sorts of hidden traps. For every big opportunity, there's a serious risk that absolutely has to be managed. And this slide really captures that digital dilemma perfectly. The promise is amazing, right? Targeted ads, a global reach, but the peril is just as real. You're dealing with ad fraud that wastes tons of money, a lack of reliable metrics, and of course, the massive problem of content piracy. And piracy is a huge challenge. When you have these paid subscription services, illegal free alternatives can completely undermine the entire business model. This whole issue was famously illustrated by the battle over one of the world's most popular TV shows. So, to fight piracy of Game of Thrones, the streaming platform Hotstar launched this really clever campaign, Torrents Morghulis, a play on the show's famous phrase Valor Morghulis. It was a direct, head-on acknowledgement of the problem. And while piracy was stealing content, another threat was stealing money. Ad fraud, where bots creating fake clicks cost marketers literally billions. Ultimately, this whole journey leads to a destination that isn't really a piece of technology or even a business model. It's a whole new way of thinking for the entire organization.
To really succeed, companies had to become digital first. Now, this meant moving past that traditional media bias, where digital is just an afterthought, and instead embedding digital thinking into every single part of the business, from the very top all the way down.
The report actually lays out a pretty clear roadmap for this kind of internal transformation. It's all about breaking down those old silos and getting everyone from marketing to IT to content creation to work together to build an entirely new foundation from the ground up. And this transformation is really built on a four-step framework. It starts with a clear vision and strategy, then it moves to deeply understanding the customer proposition. From there, you have to design a business model for the digital age, and finally, create a flawless plan for execution. And at the absolute heart of all of this is a relentless, almost obsessive focus on the customer. As Saurabh Doshi from Facebook puts it here, being finicky about user experience isn't some weakness. It's the absolute key to success. Which really leaves us with a final thought from this whole explainer. In a world where new platforms, new content, and new competitors are always popping up, maybe the digital-first destination isn't an endpoint at all, but instead it's a permanent commitment to just keep on evolving.